days ago, Crawford and Canelo. Tell me, man, what's your reaction to that fight?
First of all, I want to send a big congratulations to Terrence Crawford. Did a phenomenal job. To be honest, man, I didn't see it. I like Terrence Crawford. I like his boxing skills, but I'm gonna admit, man, it was just too hard for me to give him a win, man. And coming up three divisions, making something impossible is like a Rocky movie. Uh, I did a couple of interviews and I said, well, the only way that Crawford, because anybody has a chance when they're up in the ring there, is to tap and move, and just win the fight. But this guy went in there, he tapped and moved, and he stayed in there to bang with Canelo, and he got the best out of Canelo. So that was very surprising, the way that he was moving left, right, and confusing Canelo, and he made Canelo, to me, in my opinion, man, look like an amateur, a guy that small. So uh, it was unbelievable. And a big congratulations to him. He did phenomenal, pound for pound, the best, and he proved everybody wrong. And he did a great job, man. I think Canelo tried everything he could, but like I've been saying, he's been fighting since he was 15 years old, man. I think he's been very disciplined. He had a lot of fights, and tear and wear, man, I think caught up to him. And even he admitted that night that he won it, but the body couldn't go. So um, we see it. We all see that coming. So at the end of the day, I don't want to take the credit away from Terence Crawford. He did a great job. From the beginning, the first round, he was looking sharp. He was uh, throwing those combinations, moving left, right. He was very awkward on his style. He figured Canelo out. He fought straight at Canelo, and man, he looked amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, Tell me, did you feel like there was a moment there that Canelo could have possibly been stopped?
Yeah, I think if Terence Crawford would have push the gas a little bit, maybe like in the eighth, ninth, and really, really risk. But I understand that he didn't want to risk because, man, he was winning all the rounds pretty much, in my opinion. So why risk if you already got the fight won? So, but he did push it on the 12th round and he hurt Canelo. But I think if he would have done something like that, like a little bit early, I think he could have stopped Canelo, in my opinion.
Mm. Tell me, do you feel like the people would show up for a rematch? Do you feel like that is worthy,
I
or
don't
do
think,
you?
in my opinion, I don't think it's worth a rematch. Maybe if it was a little bit closer, and if there was back and forth action. It was all Terrence Crawford, man. People are gonna probably think that I hate Canelo. No, I was going for Canelo to knock out Terrence Crawford because of the weight. You know, I didn't see Terrence Crawford. I'm not gonna come and see. I knew that and say that I knew that Terrence was gonna beat him. No, I didn't. No, I to be honest, I thought, man, this is impossible, man. It's like three weights. He only fought one at 154. So it's impossible, man. It's Canelo's just too big. Uh, but like I said, he proved us wrong, and I don't think a rematch really people are going to be happy about it, or I mean, I think Canelo doesn't want to fight Terrence Crawford again. He's going to
Mm.
humiliate him again. And I think at this time maybe Crawford could stop him. You know, to be honest with you, like he said, he wanted to do it, but the body didn't respond. But I tell you something, if he fights Jake Paul, that would be a big, big fight. Maybe even a bigger fight than Terrence Crawford. Because at the end of the day, I think Terrence Crawford doesn't bring a lot of people like Canelo. Canelo brought all that people. And it was amazed how much people he brought in because they were thinking that he was going to beat Terrence Crawford. But I think that Jake Paul does have a lot of YouTubers and people that like boxing also, I think. And I think that, in my opinion, man, hopefully I'm not mistaken, but Netflix can make a bigger fight than Canelo and Terrence Crawford, in my opinion. Because he does bring a lot of people too. So imagine those two. Like I always say, Canelo doesn't need the belts, man. He's done so much and he's known all over the world. he can bring a lot of people just in exhibition fights also, you know. So, you know, uh, but at the end of the day, you know, that's what happens.
Wow. So you believe that Jake Paul and Canelo Alvarez could possibly have even a higher gate than what they just did?
Maybe people are gonna say that I'm crazy, you know, but I think so, you know. And I'll tell you right now, if that happens, man, it's gonna go crazy,
Yeah.
crazy. You know, I think I would love to see it.
You
Wouldn't you want to
so
see it?
tell so you telling me I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would, it's just exhibition obviously. I'm not really
Yeah,
into
yeah, yeah. It's more
exhibition
an
so anyway.
exhibition, you know. But
Yeah, I'll watch
what I'm
it
trying
cuz
to
I'm
tell you,
covering it.
is that Canelo has a big following, and
Right.
people follow him.
Right.
Does it make sense? So they would love to see Canelo beat Jake Paul. And I think he has a pretty good chance, you know, but anything can happen. You know, I see that also Jake Paul has been advancing little by little, you know. I think he is getting a little bit better and better, you know. So uh, I think at these days now it's all about entertainment, you know, with social media and Netflix and all these, you know, things. So I think it could definitely be a big fight.
So you're telling me that you believe that that fight on Saturday was because all those people showed up for Canelo Alvarez because they felt like he was going to knock out Crawford, not versus they were
I
going to be more in a competitive fight type of
let's
deal?
be honest. Let's be honest, man. In my opinion, I think look how everybody was booing Crawford. I like Crawford. I like Canelo. You know, both of them are good fighters. But you can see right in the weigh-ins the reaction. They went there to see Canelo. Does it make sense? So
Yeah.
why? I mean, there was more boos than cheering. You know, so
Yeah.
were Canelo fans. So I think Canelo has created this big empire of people, followers. You know, I mean, that's what it is, you know, like it or not. You know, I think he does have a lot of fans, you know, and whoever he fights, like I said, you know, I think he'll lose some, but he'll still have a lot of them, I think, you know. I don't think if there was a rematch, I don't think they're going to pay all that money to come and see him like the first fight, you know. But half of them will come, and still half is still a lot of people, you know, in my opinion. So I don't think that they're going to make the same money that they did, you know, because they're going to say, no, now he's going to lose this and that, you know. So I think that a rematch will not make sense, but they will still make money. But like I said, you know, if he fights somebody else, you know, I think it's better because I think Crawford will beat him again, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It could be even worse at the next time.
It could be even worse. Yeah.
Right. Um I hear you on that. Now he's had 3 losses now. I mean, tell me, with that loss right there, was that the worst loss he's taken in his career so far, Canelo?
Well, for him to say that Crawford was better than Floyd, I mean, to me, I think Floyd really beat him. And to say that Crawford is better than Floyd, I mean, that says it all. You know, I think
Hmm.
that was the toughest fight of his career. I think.
And do you agree? Do you feel like, Terrence had a more dominant performance than Floyd?
Well, we're looking at different times.
True.
In my opinion, I think at that time he was young. At this time, he's older. In my opinion, I think Floyd Mayweather made it look really bad in the first fight. You know, that fight that they had, and he was younger. He didn't have the experience he had. So I would say it was kind of the same, in my opinion.
But more impressive because you have more of a knowledgeable Canelo Alvarez now,
More impressive because all the titles and who Canelo is and all that.
right? The titles.
I would say a little bit more exciting at this time.
Mm. So I hear you, coach. So you feel like that loss was so bad to the point that it's like you might as well fight Jake Paul type of deal.
Well, you know, like I said, he's been fighting since he was 15 years old, bro. He said it himself that the body did
Do
not
you think
respond.
retirement? Is that what you see? Like,
No, I don't think he should retire. I think, like I say, he has a lot of following. I think he should still do some exhibitions. Like Floyd. Why not? I think he still make maybe even more money. I don't think he should stop. I think he should continue. Uh, you know, but if that motivation is not there, or I mean, he has so much money and so much many businesses that I don't think he needs to fight. I think, in my opinion, spend more time with the family. And I mean, when it's enough, you know? But at the end of the day, who am I to say what to do, But I think he should still fight, here and there, some exhibitions, and to still entertain the people. He has a big following.
now I see that you've seen Turkey's message. Can David Benavidez still make 168 pounds?
Well, we didn't go to 175 because of the weight. We went to 175 because of the opportunities, and we were thinking to go to cruiserweight to fight. And we were in talks with Oscar De La Hoya, Zurdo Ramirez management, and Zurdo Ramirez to make that fight at cruiserweight. We're fighting on November 22nd. You heard Bomac that he does not want Crawford to fight David Benavidez. So right now, I believe that we have a tough fight, man. November 22nd. I don't want to get ahead of my fight, and we're super focused 100% on getting to Riyadh and making that fight happen and keep proving ourselves, and show the people who David is. Uh, let's see what happens after that. Like I said, I will tell you though that it will be easy because you know we'll be fighting. If everything goes well, we'll take a couple of weeks off, and the weight will not be a problem because we will already there, kind of. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's my job as a manager is to get them the best fights and train them as a trainer. And I mean, we want to make history, brother. So, and if that the people want that fight, and people think that that's a good fight, and if Bomac and Terrence Crawford want that fight, why not? We're here to please the fans and give them what they want. I think David's too big for Terrence Crawford. I think Terrence Crawford will be like 38 years old. I mean, it will not be the same as Canelo, man. We know David comes in and throws a lot of punches and put the pressure. And no disrespect to Terrence Crawford, he's the best pound for pound. He's in the books to do history. He did something that nobody could do. But at the end of the day, we're talking about the Mexican monster,
Mm.
David's young, strong, super big for Terrence Crawford. Uh, and, even Terrence Crawford said that Kavalaskis or whatever hit harder than Canelo because the power's not there anymore. With David, it's a different story.
Mm, mm. So tell me, do you feel like it's more of the size? I mean, why? Like, obviously, Canelo has gotten a lot of grief of not fighting David Benavidez, now getting, pretty much schooled, outclassed this weekend. You know, why do you feel like Crawford's gonna end up getting that type of stigma, like how Canelo was? Like, hey, you avoiding guys, you're picking and choosing.
Let me tell you something. That's not going to happen with Canelo. In order to do that, you have to have a big following. I like Crawford. He's a great fighter and all that, but he doesn't have a big following. I don't think that he's going to steal Canelo's fans. You know, I
No,
don't. No, I don't think so. We will see. Hopefully, I'm wrong, but
because
I
I
don't.
heard I heard a lot of people were humbled at the end of the night.
Yeah, no. At the end of the day, I think these are true fans, and I think that, and like I said, I hope I'm wrong. He deserves it. He won fair and square. He did a great job. And I mean, he deserves to get that recognition. But at the end of the day, man, we seen Crawford. He's a great fighter, really good fighter, but unfortunately, he doesn't have a big following. So. I don't think, look at B-Ball, B Canelo. Does B-Ball have a big following?
Right,
You know,
right.
I mean, I don't, I don't even think that. I don't know. I mean, people forgot that he beat Canelo.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but in the same time, do you feel like that's a possible reason why you and your the Bevo and your fight with Bevo would be such a big thing because he beat Canelo?
And that, yeah, exactly. That would be good because at the end of the day, now they're looking for the next Mexican. You know,
Yeah,
now I think yeah, people are gonna watch that fight because now they're who's the superhero in Mexico, you know. So
because
it's an opportunity for us to show up and look impressive and show the people that we are a legit fighter, that David is the one, so we have a good opportunity, and that's why we're super focused and ready to take all those big challenges, because I believe that every fight that David fights, it's proving to people, that he belongs there, and it's all about proving himself, proving himself, proving himself, and little by little, I think we're getting up there.
mm, I mean, tell me, when you did see that, what was your initial thoughts when Turkey post? I mean, I see that you posted it up on your Instagram as well, but I mean, what was your initial thoughts? Like,
I don't,
if David Benavidez
yeah,
can make 168,
to me, it's still like it's hard to believe, when even when they announced the fight, Canelo. I mean, they were saying that Canelo was going to fight Crawford. I thought it was a joke, you know,
right?
because of the weight, you know. But there Crawford's 37 years old. Canelo, I think, is 35, 36. So, it's a pretty good matchup there, I think Crawford was a little bit more fresher, but you can't compare that to David, man. And I still think that it's not fair, But at the end
Not
of the
fair.
day, if the people, that's what they want, I mean, I just think that David's too big for Terrace, and Bomac feels the same. But at the end of the day, when you get a Terrace Crawford beating Canelo, that was a big challenge. Now everybody wants to find out, are you the real deal? Fight David Benavidez, and then we'll prove of that. So even though he did beat Canelo, people have not really approved of that. He has to beat another guy that's dangerous at 168. There is a lot of guys at 168, young, strong, hungry. Now, if he managed to be one of those, I think that he'll get the full credit. To me, he already has the full credit, But there are some more people that now are saying, Canelo was old, Canelo this, Canelo that, Um, so I don't know if he could do it, man. I don't know if he could do it. He's too small for that weight at 168.
Mm, yeah, I mean, in the same token, do you feel like it's a possible that Turkey would still want to make the fight with Canelo and you guys? And if so, do you feel like Canelo would?
I don't think Canelo would face David Benavidez after that loss. I don't think he wants to go out like that. He has a lot of money, man. I think his legacy and what he's done is it's about to say, you know what, that's it, no more. Why would I fight David Benavidez for what? You know, I think David would destroy him. I could tell you right now, David would stop him. David would really hurt Canelo at this point. So if Eddie Reynoso knows that, he knows that, why would they even try to make that fight?
Is that what you seen a lot when you was looking at that performance?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I saw, and that's what I see. We got to face it. Canelo is done. Uh, he's done. Unless they put him with fighters that are not at that level still. And still that's a lot of danger. But we've
Mm.
seen it with Berlanga, with Munguia, and with all those fighters that he fought. I mean, these guys were too young, they didn't have the experience, and uh, that's why he looked like he looked. And and I don't think they want to do that anymore with them. I don't think they're going to feed them any more fighters that are not at that level right now. Plus, he's not a champion no more. So I don't know. I don't know. He will have to. I think he wants to fight somebody that has a belt. Somebody that has makes sense. Does it make sense? At 168, it's going to be really hard. At 175, it's going to be really